Yo, hey people, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is something I've been asked by a lot of people to talk about, to explain, and something I actually promised to you guys a little while ago and never got around to filming. So this whole video is about, sort of about my career, but all the things I've learned along the way in how to get sponsored and what that means and what it entails and what helps and what are bad ideas. So I'm 24 years old and I started riding mountain bikes when I was 10, 11 and actually got my first sponsor when I was 12 or 13, which is Halo Wheels, and I still ride for them today, which is really cool. So for me, I've had now 12 years of learning about sponsorship and working with brands, and that's what's really important, what I just said, working with brands. That's what you're doing when you're a sponsored rider. It doesn't matter if you're sponsored for football, table tennis, BMX, scooters, skateboards, mountain bikes. It's all pretty much the same, I'm sure, because you're doing the same thing. You're working with a brand. You're not just opening packages of new free stuff that turns up all the time. You are working with them in developing those products, talking about those products, presenting them to new audiences, and that's what we're going to talk about. But before I do that, I want to show you something, which is what's going to be in Monday's video, which is the next video, and that's this. Which looks a bit crazy, so stay tuned for that one. That was a really funny one to film, which is going out on Monday. So, sponsorship. And let's talk about the different stages of how you can go about doing this, because I obviously got sponsored from a young age, but that's just because I was really lucky. Right place, right time. But things have changed, and now there's social media. I grew up riding before Instagram, before Facebook. There was just magazines, DVDs and competitions. And now the world is open to talking to people easily, presenting yourself, showing them numbers. So I was lucky, I got sponsored when I was young, but I've got friends who got their first sponsors in their 30s, who are even older than that. So it doesn't matter who you are, what sport you're doing, but that's where we're going to start. So you need to identify who you are to then understand what industry you fit into. So if you ride skateboards, you're not going to be wanting to talk to brands that make barbecues. And if you ride BMX, you don't want to be talking to brands that make, I don't know, helicopter blades. It doesn't make sense. So you need to understand what industry you fit into, and then you're going to be able to narrow down your list of people you want to talk to brands who actually are going to be able to work with you because they produce products that you're going to use every day, you can talk about, and it makes sense. It has to be organic, it has to make sense. So figure out what industry you really do fit into. Obviously I'm a mountain biker and all of my sponsors fit into the mountain bike industry, the outdoor riding bikes. It makes sense, which makes my job easier because I can just talk to you about my handlebars, because of course I can, they're handlebars for my bike. But I wouldn't be able to talk to you about jet skis because I don't use jet skis as a mountain bike rider. So that's number one. It might seem obvious, but there's no point emailing, phoning, messaging companies that just don't fit in with you. So do that, and then you're going to need to think about how you're going to contact them. So a few years ago you had to go to trade shows and things like that, which is still cool, and if you get to the chance to do that, that's good. But now every company is online. They have Instagram accounts, and it might seem like not so professional, but honestly, if you send a message to a brand's Instagram account, you're probably going to end up talking to someone who takes care of social media, and they're in the marketing part of the business. So if you ever meet a company or someone who works for them, be really polite and say, do you mind if I have the contact or the name of your marketing manager or your athlete marketing manager? That sounds professional, and that's the person who actually is going to have the final say and say yes or no, we can help you, we can work with you. So that's the name of the person who you want to try and talk to, just as a little heads up, because it's a bit confusing. It's just, I want to talk to Marin Bikes. Who do you, so be specific and it will really help. So you know what industry you're in, you know roughly who you need to talk to in the company from that industry, and then what you need to say and what you need to explain isn't really I can do double backflips, or I've got 5,000 followers, or even I've got 100 followers on Instagram. That's really cool, but if you can't use them to help a company, then it doesn't really matter. So it's not about followers, it's not about what tricks you can do, it's about identifying how you're going to help. So let's think of an example. Tyres, bike tyre company. You need to be specific when you talk to them. You need to research the products they make, so you can say, these are the ones I will need to do my job. And then when you've got those tyres, how are you going to advertise them? How are you going to explain to people how good they are for you, how much they're working, the perks of those tyres compared to other ones you've tried in the past? And if you can package that up into a message, into a kind of proposal, that's the good word for it. You're going to propose this idea of, I'm going to work with your brand, I want to help your brand, and I'm going to do that by whatever. That's the right way to go about it, because you're going to be talking to the right person from the right brand, and now you're telling them the right things that are going to allow them to understand why they're giving tyres to you and not somebody else. And it's not just because you've got loads of followers. Honestly, I'm lucky that I've built a following, but when I was 12 and I first got sponsored, I didn't have any followers because it didn't exist. So it's not the most important thing in the world, and not all companies just care about that stuff, and a lot of people think it does. So there's a lot more you can offer. You can give product feedback and help them develop new, cooler products, because if you believe that you're good at what you do, and of course they're going to want your input and your feedback and help that company to make better products. That is part of being a sponsored rider, not just advertising. If you're not going to do contests and you're going to focus on making a really cool video, how are you going to show their products in that video of them doing their job and being good for you? So you need to think about, before, instead of just saying, I'm going to film 10 videos for Instagram or YouTube, so explain which products you're going to use from their range, because that's going to help. They're going to read that and think, wow, he's actually talking about my brand here. This isn't an email that's being sent to 100 companies. This is how my products as Max's Tyres fit into this person. That's really important. Be specific, so they feel like that email and that message is just for their company and you really want to ride for their company. And then you're kind of in a good place. And that doesn't mean that the first way of contacting people for you guys is going to work. It might not, and it might take a lot of goes. And also, companies might come to you, and that's really cool. When that happens, that's really rewarding, because you know that you're valued, but it doesn't happen all the time. You have to put in a bit of work to explain of why this partnership, that's what it is, they're helping you and you're helping them, why it's good for them. And it has to go both ways. If your best mate goes out for dinner with you and pays, if you don't then kind of offer to pay the next time, he's going to kind of be a bit annoyed. And it's the same. If a company just keeps sending you cool stuff and you don't do anything, and when the next time comes around you're not helping their company, they're not going to be into it and it's not going to happen again. So it needs to go both ways. They're providing you with kit, stickers, helmets, golf clubs, whatever it is to do your job. You need to help make their job easier and promote those products in the best way. Just be yourself as well. If you've got a special type of golf swing that no one else is doing, that's really cool. Keep doing it. I love doing the style of 360s that I've always done, and I still do that now. And I like talking about it. So be yourself, but you need to make that person, that marketing manager's job easy by doing what they need. And that's promoting the products in the best way you can. And then they can tell their boss that you're doing a great job, and that relationship's going to grow, it's going to continue. And that brings me on to the word growth. And that's important. No one ever starts and suddenly they're getting all the stuff in the world and all this amazing stuff to do their job, and you can quit your job doing whatever and be a professional rider. It doesn't happen. You have to start small, because you have to prove yourself and you have to learn as well, because this message and what I'm explaining might help. I really hope it helps, but you're still going to have to learn for yourselves what works and what doesn't work. So start small. If someone wants to give you a free pair of grips to go on your bike in return for some Instagram posts and a video, it might not seem like the best deal ever, but that can grow. And if you do your best and put everything into it, the next month, the next year, that will come with way more grips, maybe some handlebars and more better and better and better stuff. And that's why it's taken me quite a long time to get where I am today, because I've learned, and every year I can give back more because I've learned what works for me, what works for the brands, and that's how I got to being a sponsored rider, I guess, which is crazy to say, but it's a lot of learning. So you've got to try different things and try and make it easy for the people around you so that everyone wins. Because you can, you can be sponsored and the company can benefit at the same time. No one has to lose. You can all win. And if you can find a little formula that works using those techniques, just being yourself, trying to just have fun with it, because people will enjoy watching you have fun. You could have the best bike in the world, and if when you go out and ride it you say it sucks because that day sucks, maybe it was too wet, you're not doing the best job you could do. You need to find a way of making it fun, and people are going to enjoy that, and they're going to enjoy watching you and enjoy being around you, and you eventually will become an influence and an influencer, which is what it is to be sponsored. So that was my advice, and I'll do another one of these videos and talk about it a bit more, but I think to summarise, you need to be sponsored. You've got to figure out who you are, where you fit into this world that you're in, what sport, whatever sport it is. You need to find the right person to talk to, and then you need to make their life easy and make selling products easy, or even making the brand cool easy, because everyone's cool. Everyone on the whole world is cool, and if you can just show people that by having fun and being yourself, then it's hopefully going to work for you, because I believe that if you just enjoy it and enjoy life, people are going to want to help you out. So best of luck to everyone. If you want to know more, you can message me, you can comment on this video, or just talk amongst yourselves and get involved. Maybe get your friends to help. You can all sit down and write a message and think what you could do together. Maybe, like, you don't even have to get sponsored on your own. You and your best mate could form a little collab, a team, a brand, and go from there. So think about it, and you need to help brands, and hopefully then they'll help you. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope it was useful. It was my first time actually talking about this, so I'll probably watch this back and want to add more for the next one. But yeah, comment some ideas please, and if you subscribe that would be legendary, because you are all legends. Thanks guys, best of luck, and see you in the video with the BMX bars on the dirt jump bike, which was seriously funny to film. See you in the next video. Peace.